Hello everyone, how are we all doing? My name is Trevon from freestudiotime.com, and if you don't know who I am, I help beginner audio engineers and recording artists turn their mixes into gold. Today I'm going to be explaining mistakes beginners should avoid when mixing in FL Studio. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So what mistakes should beginners avoid when mixing vocals? So when first learning how to use an EQ, it's very easy to make too small or too large adjustments. This is especially important because you more than likely don't know what you're listening for and probably adding harshness or muddiness to your vocal. Rule of thumb, never go over 2 dB when using subtractive or additive EQ unless you really need to. Speaking of subtractive and additive EQ, the way you figure out if a frequency needs to be adjusted is by boosting a frequency band and sweeping it across the range you feel like needs work. Refer to an EQ cheat sheet if you don't know what sounds you should be looking for to adjust. Number 2, improper plugin placement in your vocal chain. So when mixing vocals, there's a specific order your plugin should be in, and this order was created in accordance to the operations of each VST. The first few basic plugins in your chain control structure of your audio signal so it doesn't sound like trash when you add effects on top of it. EQ always comes first because it cleans the problem frequencies throughout the spectrum. Compression balances the dynamics of our now clean frequency audio signal, which is why it comes second. Next, de-esser to remove sibilants, which are the S sounds that are more prominent to the human ear. This comes after compression because this is another form of compression that serves to do what the first one can't. This is the basic order you should get down packed because this order will never change as the order of special effect plugins you use can change. Number 3, not adjusting makeup gain on your compressor. So when compressing your vocals, you're going to naturally lose a little bit of gain in the process. What makeup gain does is bring the volume of the compressed signal up so you don't have to worry about finding other ways to compensate for the loss of gain to your vocal in the mix. Without doing this simple step, it's guaranteed your vocals will get drowned out by the instrumental track. Number 4, not using EQ on your reverb. So when using your reverb plugin, it's important to EQ because of the digital artifacts reverb can produce. If you don't have any way to remove high and low end on your reverb, make a reverb send to your vocal bus, add an EQ after your reverb, then take the low end out with the high pass filter and the high end out with a low pass filter. And what I personally like to do for adding more depth to my reverb is going to the low mid frequency range and giving it a nice little tiny boost to really thicken up that reverb and just make my vocals be perceived as overall fuller. Number 5, turning plugins too low or too high in the mix. So this is mainly for special effect plugins since you can't adjust the mix level of the basic plugins. When using special effect plugins, you want to make sure you're actually hearing the effect without overdoing it. In the past, I didn't turn my effects high enough in the mix, which caused me to have dry, bland sounding vocals. And at that point, you might as well not even add any effects at all. But overdoing it sounds bad as well, since the lack of balance sounds really unprofessional and amateur. But alright everyone, those are the mistakes beginners should avoid when mixing vocals. If you want to learn how to mix your vocals with the stock plugins inside of FL Studio 2024, click the link in my description and I'll give you a detailed guide on how to do it, which I can guarantee will 5 times the speed of your progression. But alright everyone, I will catch you all on the flip side.